start with the simplest of questions, which all of us would have. I'm assuming there are a lot of successful investors here who put their money on December 4th, 2013 or earlier and continue to invest money with their portfolio managers systematically or with their PE investors, as the case may be. The question is, should I book out? Am I likely to see a repeat of January 2008 trend? Prashant, that first question to the successful investor. Is it time to cash out? And what do you mean by cash out? You cash out and go where? How does one approach? Is the question itself worded wrongly?
When you say should one book out and reduce exposure, my fundamental belief is that no one probably can forecast 1 year returns of the markets. It's easier to forecast 3-5 year returns of the markets. It's correct that equities are up 30-35%, but it is also correct that Sensex is up 30% not just over last 1 year but also over last 6 years. So in Jan 2008, Sensex was 21,000 and today it is 28,000. In these 6 years, the nominal GDP has more than doubled. Sensex is up only 30%. The PE multiples, when you last referred to in 2008, it crashed. Markets were trading 25 times. Today markets are trading 16, 17, 18 times maybe. So it's not a comparable situation. And finally, today if you look at the corporate profitability aggregate, it is at a 17-18 year low. So I think the outlook for profit growth, even though things have not changed yet on the ground, but over time there are reasons to believe that things will improve. So I would simply say, I don't know over 1 year periods, but if you do have 2, 3, 5 year views, and if you have tolerance for some volatility in the short to medium term, I would see no reason why one should sell out from these markets.
Well, let me get Mr. Bharat Shah into the conversation. Mr. Bharat Shah, how should the question be phrased in the mind of the investor? When he approaches a fund manager or a portfolio manager, what should he be expecting out of you? Should he give you 10-year time? Should he expect from you 15% returns? What are the numbers that he must have in his mind?
I think first and foremost, we have to appreciate equity investing is not a short-term gain. It's not a temporary commitment or a parking place that you are into, or an opportunistic stance that when it is convenient, you get into the game and you leave the gravy train when it is inconvenient to you. That kind of a mindset is one of the biggest killers for poor performance of the investor portfolios. If the equity investing is long-term and it flowers and shows the ultimate results only over a period of time, it is logical to expect that the investor money which is backing that portfolio has to be long-term too. Then only there is a synchronization of objective between what a manager tends to do and what an investor, his own psyche, his own temperament, his own attitude towards that investment is equally critical. The synchronization of the two is the ideal combination which lets the good results flower into the great ones. And Prashant mentioned that it's not 1 year is too short to predict, and I can't agree with him more. It has become a fashion or constant search and attitude to find a prediction about a short term. The irony of the investing is that the long term is far more crystal clear than the short term.
How should an investor, even approach times which look very frothy, times which look, expensive, where you have seen a 50% rise in some stocks, in fact, actually 600 to 800% rise in the past 1 year. So should he therefore steer or not invest in those times, or should he, wait for a dip? What should be the philosophy in times like these, which appear to be frothy?
Good. So investment philosophy doesn't change with the time. Investment philosophy is timeless. So every manager has his own investment philosophy. So and if there are 1 million guys in the market, there are 1 million ways of making money. Investors has a fantastic choice to go to any number of manager. So I can speak about only my style of investing,
Please.
which is QGLP. We say quality, growth, longevity, reasonable price. And I go exactly in the same order when I look at the stock.
Quality, growth, longevity, and
Quality, growth, longevity at reasonable price. It's a well formulated policy for me. Growth is very important, and then longevity of the growth, and longevity of the quality of the business and management. You know, I mean, like in commodity business, you have fantastic business in 2003 or 2005, but today the same business are looking very bad. So what is the longevity? But Nestle or Britannia or all these companies, they would become better by the day. So have you got a quality company in this kind of environment which is becoming better? So when all these three things are taken care of, then only I get into the valuation, not before that. And then valuation is function of how much money the company is going to make. See, ultimately you are going to make only as much money as much the company is going to make. Nothing more than that. People are trying to make a company which makes 8% return on equity or 10% return on equity or 15% return on equity. They want to make 40-50%. It's just impossible. You have to get a company which is creating value over and above cost of capital, and then they have a business model which can grow at 25-30%, and that will be your return in the portfolio. So now the issue is that even at 30p, I'm willing to buy if a company is growing at 25% and ROE is 30%.
If you get your QGL, your quality, growth, and longevity, then you are willing to pay a higher price.
Yes, much higher price. I can buy 40p, I can buy at 80p. Give me the variables.
Madhu, what should be the asset allocation and the comparison between property and equity?
I think this is the more questions from an investor point of view. That everything else is a function of what are you holding and what percentage of equity and other assets are you holding. So if you are too intelligent and if you are like a normal investor, which most of you are, and if you allocated, let's say 1 year back, 70% of your funds into equity, and that has become 99% of your portfolio today, then the question is very different. That, for that investor, even someone like me may advise that, bhaiya, thoda paisa ghar mein le ja. But if you are someone who has only invested with the best fund in the best stock, saying that it has gone 10 times, but I invested only 1% of my wealth in that company, and out of my total portfolio, I am holding 10% equity, and 90% is real estate or fixed income, then the advice is that if you have missed this boom, and if you have, as a lot of learned people on the panel said, that if you have a real intent of investing into equity, which is only from long-term perspective, then even 8500 Nifty is cheap. If you have a 5-10 year perspective, then because your allocation is so low, that you have no choice. You can't keep waiting for the correction and the fall. So, बहुत सारे लोग wait ही कर रहे हैं. And the other point, which is a general point, Lata, which you said rightly, most of the people, even in this room, and a lot of you are very intelligent, you learn, you run very, very successful enterprise and businesses. I find a lot of people have a significant overweight in real estate. Forget all of you, even I have a significant overweight in property, because the house in which I live is very valued, essentially. So I am saying, for the people who have significant overweight in real estate, clearly last 10 years were golden era, even for real estate. People have made 10, 20, 30, 40 times return, even on real estate in last 10, 15 years. I personally feel that over the next 10 years, clearly equity should significantly outperform. I am not saying outperform. Significantly outperform the real estate as an asset class. Now the question is that, if you are willing to say it in 1 year or in one pocket, if you get something in SRA at 2,000 rupees in Goregaon, then you are likely to do well. But I am talking about general public. So the dilemma in minds of investor today is that if I have got significant overweight in real estate, is it still the time that I can switch from real estate to equities? And my answer is, yes, you must.